ngalo na la wato kuma ta bake asira linga da fo ko nyi fawo dinkira
hey elafta maboro la bank kalpo e fa igiso e seo na yuna jang ibadin kiyato kati yuna wallet ibe falindiro ke kan sandiri nyat
ni la yuna wallet o si muna fanno tulo yabo mano kandrin ni fen jama isi sanno la yuna wallet o kono yalla kamo soto ila wallet o kono
alkana la konda no tay ka yuna wallet anatan tolle mukan na bayo fanondi abe sona yaren ko bulu podo nela mobile scan yo science ise maboro ke wato men diate
ko be sandro ke fangole ba ko ba ke kan dimbalem isi ñu lonko e sandro se yona enterprise wato wati anu la yona wallet tola e be lan kamo soto kay la wallet o kono
alina nga kafun nanyi yuna dimbayal kan kasandiro ke yuna bitikoto alina kata nyin ko kentat na sura fa lolu di sandiro kije se maboro fanan keje
moro jun diana nyum ko di mabal ni kadeda
Hello and welcome to another edition of our show. It's another Thursday and I want to say Eid Mubarak to you all. We just came out of the Tobaski. We want to thank you all for always following Kerr Fatou. And we're back here in the studios. Mustapha, salo ka tangadi.
Pusiara.
Pusiara.
Yes.
Korea layang pa.
Yeah, definitely.
Man salbaije, man zeye man te muso di no letela. Mr. President, Mr. President, welcome to Kerr Fatou.
Thank you, Mustapha, Chief Bachelor now.
Chief Bachelor, about time we getting white.
Yeah, definitely. Mustapha, we have to really. It's under negotiation.
What negotiation? Who see? You don't know what bank negotiation.
Never seen that. Yeah.
It's under negotiation with who? With who?
Let's focus on what matters.
But somebody told me when I was just coming, muso bidia be pariring. Akara from Mustapha la, current telephone, master's degree, abe America, doctoral.
Oh wow, that's great. Okay, let's focus. Let's focus on the program. We can discuss that offline.
No,
we've already discussed.
You know what someone told me? I could go itela Molbe. Bora man son futula, Mustapha man son futula, Buba Gaji go be Chang Bimbulu. Like what is going on? I'll tell you.
Yeah, it will be fixed. And landing. Everything requires time to fix.
Okay. Really? And when is that?
Before I have a fixed lab.
I have a fixed lab. I have a fixed lab. I
Yeah, by force.
By force. Mr. President, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having me. You know, this very important show. I used to follow it, and then I'm happy that I'm here.
Yeah. No, you are the boss. You know, Mr. He's our president. He's our boss. All of us. You know, Mr. You know, MS is the president.
And others can.
No, we will not do that. You know, we are very democratic. At GPU, we are very democratic. We wait until elections, but you are doing an amazing job. Mr. Mustapha, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Mon mejibero la salbo kina through the stars. You know, no salbo in kabari, salbo ala kina through stars. Mr. President, I think today we are looking at a very important bill that is right now going through the National Assembly. I checked with National Assembly members. I'm told the bill is right now at committee stage. I spoke to one or two members of the committee, and they told me they're doing consultations about the bill, because it is important that before they even take it to the assembly floor, they consult. And the bill that we're talking about is the cybercrime bill. I think I've seen a lot of conversations around this, and in fact the last time we spoke about it here, Mustapha, briefly, because I was, from the first day I told people this bill, for me, I felt was for people like us who work online. And I think, you know, I've seen a lot of reactions also towards the bill. But first, I want to start with the status, like the media landscape in the Gambia. From 2017, the reason why it's important to look back is to why some of the changes that happened in 2017, why did it happen? There were bad media laws. There were people claim it was a dictatorship. People were gone missing. People were killed. That's why a lot of Gambians felt they need a change. And when the change happened in 2017, there were so many things that we wanted. We wanted a new constitution. We wanted our media laws reviewed. And the GPU went to the Supreme Court. Some of the laws were removed. Now, 2017 to date, under the leadership of President Adama Barrow, how would you define the landscape, the media landscape in the Gambia?
Thank you very much. In context, yes, there is, you know, an average or a degree of freedom in terms of the media. We have a lot of proliferation of media, a lot of media convergence, because during Jammeh's era, even hosting an online media was a taboo in this country.
It is.
Even browsing through the online and some of the sites, you know, you have to hide, and some people were even arrested because they went through certain sites or communicated or perceived to be communicating with people that are hosting those sites. You know, we're looking at the mainstream as well. We have online mainstream like Kerr Fatou and the other mainstream online. We also have TV. A lot of TV stations, we have radio stations, we have over 30 radio stations plus the community radios. We have 6 TVs, we have a lot of online media platforms, and then by extension we also have a degree of freedom of expression, at least an improvement. You know, but we still have bad laws in the books. For example, you cited some of the laws that are even flagged by the TRRC, you know, some of the laws that were here and that should be repealed. These are laws that are still here. You know, for example, the false publication, sedition against the president is still here. You know, we still have laws that are still here, that are colonial laws, the public order. We have, you know, regulations within government, that is the GOs, the Official Secret Act. These are laws that are like 1923 laws. We also have the Newspaper Act, which is still existent and and we also have the Information Communication Act. These are very bad laws. Some of like provisions that are mainly there to attack the media directly, and freedom of expression. You know, some of the laws that are there that are highlighted. I think if government focuses more on the implementation of the TRRC, it is very clear. GPU also had a committee with the government, like the government established a committee, I think in 2017. That committee constitutes, like involved the GPU, we have the Ministry of Justice, we have the Ministry of Information then and Communication when before the decoupling of the ministry. And there's a comprehensive report about these laws. They are there. Unfortunately, we are seeing some of these law clauses are making into some of the bills that government want to bring. Probably we would want to discuss that extensively. But generally, the laws are there. And sometimes we used to see a push, a bit of a like government will sometimes a bit of a push to they will say the laws are there, government is not making they are not using it. Yeah, it's not a problem, but it's a problem because sometimes they use it.
Yeah.
Against journalists. We've seen these laws are used, not only journalists. When we talk about freedom of expression, people think that it's only journalists. It's the ability for people to speak freely, their mind, hold government accountable, even citizens. It's the ability to also express your views as a citizen. Obviously, it's the media that amplifies that voice, to have a strong opinion about government, to have a point and a position, because that is the rights of citizens. So they use these laws. Like, for example, the Alhaji Bora case. Alhaji Bora is a media professional. The Mankajang case, the Mankajang, it was used against, though it didn't go well, the Mahdi Jobates case. Flex down, yes, these are things, issues, and then the Pamodu, Bojang, and other radio stations, King FM. They wanted to test the laws. So, the laws are there, and they are trying to test them. Generally, I will give credit to government that, yes, people have demanded their right to freedom of expression, and government has embraced it when they came into power in 2017. Because one, we are hosting some of the critical shows, yes, obviously our index has gone up in terms of global index, generally looking at the press freedom index, but we are going down again. There's a retrogression in terms of freedom of expression. So there are indicators that are now surfacing again, that is making a serious backsliding of our gains. Our gains already. So this year, imagine, Gambia is like 50-something. Yeah, and we were 40-something last 45th in the world, and then now we went to 50-something. Yeah, we were first 5 in Africa, and now we are 10. Wow. So there are indicators that are surfacing again in terms of the press freedom issues. And then there's a progressive law that government brings, probably before Mustapha comes, is the access to information law. That's a very progressive law, and then that we will say, yes, government has done a lot, but there is also a big but, which is the establishment of the commission. We understand that at the side of the executive, they have fulfilled, their part, which is after 2 years of the grace period of the law, which says 18 months, at least certain things should be in place, which is one, the commission, the reports that the various departments and government ministries will submit, and also the engagement that the commission will do. So it has elapsed, because it was enacted in August by in July and August it was assented to by the president. So now we are going towards the 3rd year. The parliament has not yet confirmed. I know it is part of the list, but it is the last on their agenda. It might be moved. It may not be moved, it may be moved, but I think government moving it is definitely, because President Barrow had made a promise in 2023 during his SONA, in 2022 the same, that the access to information will be fully implemented. So now is 3. So these are the things, these are the realities. The realities. Now, Mustapha, looking at just from where he stopped, where he talked about the gains that have been made, and we have seen our index. Last year it was 45. Now, why do you think it went up a little, 50-something this year? What happened within the 12 months? What has changed? What are some of these things that will prompt that kind of change? Because, I mean, I am one of those people who said, look, you could say anything. When President Barrow came at the beginning, he was tolerant. Now, is he that tolerant up to now? I don't believe so. I have seen some stuff that have changed, and I think that might be the reason why the index. But why do you think the index has changed this much, from 45, around 45 to 50-something this year?
I think a number of arrests were made, because all these indexes also, they reach out to people. They are surveys. and they reach out to people, including journalists, and they take their perceptions of the environment. They reach out to human rights activists. They reach out to a number of people, and they also do surveys that forms people field, and so naturally, if you have more incidents in the year, it impacts directly on your index. And in 2023 we had few incidents. There were not many, but there were a few incidences. I think Manka, after the paramilitary unfortunate incident where paramilitary officers were shot, Manka Jang was arrested thereafter for what the police claim was interfering with a witness.
Yeah.
But this was obviously somebody who was arrested in line of duty.
Yeah.
So naturally, it was and you know, Mahdi's arrest also was also speech related.
Yes.
He was speech related. He published a content which was reported by the media, by the Standard.
Yeah.
And on his Facebook page, and he was arrested based on that. So, and there were a few incidences of statements being made by Barrow targeting media houses that were seen to be targeting media houses.
Yeah.
And all those things are documented, and all these things comes to form part of what gets reported, you know, because surveys are complemented by research, and all of these things go into the index. Yeah, so everything government does is tracked, you know, and all this systematically goes into the index. I mean,
well, how would you describe the media landscape since this new government came? How would you describe it?
I think that the current environment is open. It's open to people pushing the limits. And it will be what we make it, you know. Personally, that's my opinion. I think that the environment is there for anyone to be a journalist, investigative journalist, or whatever you will. Government, in most places, they, especially ones that are corrupt, they make efforts to restrict the space. And so it is up to the journalists recognizing our role for what it is to also push back. And so for me, I think that there exists an environment under which we could do our job.
Yeah.
But is there threats? Yes, there are existing threats. But are those threats such that we cannot do our job? No. But what must journalists do? That is to stand their ground and push the boundaries. Yeah, that generally, I mean, whether this is in respect of press freedom or it's in respect of access to information, there are existing threats, but they are nothing. They're nothing that we cannot operate under. Like there are no junglers right now. So.
But must we wait until we get to that position? Must
well, no, not really.
But
that is the reason why we must push.
We must push.
We must push back, and this pushback comes both not just in the form of we have a union that is already pushing back when it comes to issues like issuing press releases, taking up cases, whether it's litigations, engaging authorities. That is there now, but the individual journalists also need to come back by pushing the boundaries in terms of practice. Practice, like that is why, you know, when there was a claim about journalists being fake news media, political party journalists, and I came out to say on my Facebook that journalists should be proud of that. I mean, they should, if politicians call them opposition journalists, that's their business. I mean, these are political terms like fake news. These are political opposition journalists. These are political terms. These are not terms that They're not objective terms. The person who says these things say it depending on his own opinion.
Yeah.
And these opinions are influenced by his own interests. And so we've seen Donald Trump, for example,
CNN
fake news media. Not because CNN was fake news media, but CNN was doing job that Donald Trump didn't like. And so these are some of the things that so journalists should stand their ground and hold their professional ethics to the highest standard and push the boundaries, go into investigative journalism, go into journalism, regardless, you know. And for me, these are the two things that journalists would need.
They would need. Now, Mr. President, sometimes, just like Mustapha said, there have been instances where political leaders have attacked journalists, some at a press conference, some at media events, some on the media. And all the times we have seen GPU come out and issue statements. Now, stuff like that, how does that affect journalists morally? And what does it do to their job when influential people like political leaders or the president or other people personally attack these people who are just doing a job? How does that affect the individual journalists in your perspective?
Yeah, you know, attacking journalists in a democracy is definitely uncalled for. No one should attack a journalist. That is why in a democracy, instead of personalizing things, we should have institutions that are working, that works. You know, for example, I will give it cite an example, Kenya. You know, at least they have their issues, but you know, their media is thriving, and also the politicians also understands the role of the media, the journalists as well. That is why government has put a lot of importance in the media. As a result, they have supported a vibrant, independent regulator, not Pura, not like Pura, but like a media council. So Gambia has a media council that is independent of the media and the government. But the problem is, but the problem is, the media council is not supported by government.
It's not.
That's the problem. So what
there are no laws that they can stand on.
Exactly. So what government should do is to ensure that the media council is vibrant. When we went to Kenya, you know, when we went to the media council, and then we were trying to understand the dynamics of the media council and how they work and how vibrant they are. The president, then president, had a claim against a media house. Imagine, he had a platform to castigate that media house, to tell supporters to, you know, to spew hatred.
But he didn't do that.
But he didn't do that. He drove up to the media council and went and complained against that media house. You see how democratic, you know, that country was, that country is. So it's, instead of going and attacking media houses, support an institution, like institutionalizing everything. And in democracy, we have to respect processes and procedures. You know, you cannot, it baffles me if we call ourselves a democracy and at the same time we are doing things that are undemocratic, like saying, this media house is party X, this media house is party Y, because they are critical of their your policies and programs. And that should be even a bonus to the politicians, because now they are telling, this policy is not working well because this so and so and so, and then they try to bring divergent and dissenting opinion on that issue, and then you can learn from it and improve. That is why we have a democracy. You know, as they say, democracy is rough, you know, and then we have to accept it because we call ourselves a democracy, and then that is why we have to support institutions. So it's unfortunate, like seeing, sometimes I feel so bad that I see, you know, people who ought to know better, who should even be advocate for a vibrant media, are the ones castigating the media. It's so sad. We know, obviously, because we have social media, So people should also understand, personal opinion. That's personal opinion. When people go online and send their personal opinion, that's a space where everyone can talk. So if someone shared something, you can also say, this is my opinion on this. You understand? So it's definitely, it doesn't tell well for Gambia, especially like people in authority, starting from President Barrow, from individual politicians who are very political leaders, very influential. They should not be attacking the media. That's very wrong. And then then it means if you have the means to gag that media house, to censor the media house, you have the powers maybe, but people will talk. That is why you are not doing it. But if you have the full-fledged authority to do so, then you wouldn't mind to do that, to just wipe out that media house. So media is very important in a democracy. So I believe politicians should see media as very important in terms of holding them to account. And then also media is not just something that comes into the system. It is a constitutional provision, that Section 25, that the freedom of expression and media is guaranteed. You come to Section 207, where it states that media should hold government to account. And these are laws that are brought forward by the people. The people voted for the 1997 Constitution. This is what they wanted. And then Section 208 also stated that the media should also, especially the state media, should promote divergent and dissenting opinion. So this is the role of the media. If the media fails to do so, then they are also abrogating, or they are not doing what they are supposed to do in the country, in the Gambia. So I believe it's very weird to see politicians attacking media.
I think also, in addition to what MS said, since 2017, because it used to be NIA that used to intimidate journalists and to a larger extent journalists. But since 2017, what had happened is that it's the political parties and their supporters who have started to take this place.
They are the biggest.
There were only few incidents of between the police or any of the security officers.
Actually few, very few.
With the journalists. And so and GPU, in fact, the GPU, there was a report that GPU wrote, I believe this must have been 2018, where they cataloged some of the incidents. You remember Kewajafang incident? That was at the time of the coalition.
The coalition time.
The tactical alliance
of Fatih, Ahmad Ba and Darboe.
They were there.
And which other one? There were also incidents of your team being...
Salijo
incident of exactly. And so there were a number of incidents.
Landings with...
landing.
I think everybody from my team was attacked, actually.
Exactly. So these things happen, and we saw it came political parties and also government officials. But largely it's because it's for what journalists also do. I mean,
I was going to come to that. In as much as journalists have the right to do their job, we also have a responsibility.
Absolutely.
In as much as we have the liberty to be able to disseminate information, we also have a responsibility. And in this day and age, sometimes it breaks my heart when you go to a meeting, you go to somewhere, because we are doing online platforms, especially us on the online platforms. There are so many individuals who do online platforms, and they are not in the profession, but they have their platforms and they have agendas to promote, right? Now, they categorize everybody in the same banner, right? So whatever comes online, they say, online, they spread false news. But sometimes also as journalists, we have to be responsible to distinguish ourselves from every other person. In as much as we talk about all of these things that are coming from government. Sometimes there might be instances where we also have to be very, very responsible in disseminating information, Mr. President.
I agree. Now countries
How do we need to improve?
Countries are moving now very proactively, you know, to promote media literacy.
Yeah.
You know, that is why the NCCE should work with, the government should invest more on media. You see, if a society understands how to, to consume, how to analyze, how to even create content, then you have less problem, because people can easily identify which news is credible or not. You understand? They can easily identify who is saying the truth or not.
Yeah.
You understand? They can easily connect the dots. But for us, I think we are more reactive. If things happen, then bam, we want to just get, these people,
you want to
journalists,
break the news.
You understand? So media literacy, if government is want to be very proactive, you know, they should invest more in media literacy, ensuring that people understand. Imagine people will just a WhatsApp audio, you know, in some of the area, part of the country, people will sit, you know, with their families
to listening
to a WhatsApp audio, and they will think that this is news.
Yes.
You understand? So that is why media literacy is very important. Media literacy, digital literacy, they go together. So countries are moving from that reactive way of doing things, then trying to educate more, you know, even in schools, you know, so that kids can understand, how to consume, how to understand, how to analyze, you know, how to even create content that is responsible. The other thing is, I agree, journalists should be very responsible. We have a code of ethics, which is the GPO Code of Conduct, named after Chano Jallow. That is why I said having institutionalizing the media council is very important. Then the media council will be more proactive in pointing out irresponsible content sharing. I will not say journalism, but content sharing, which includes looking after journalists. And they will know that, people are policing us. They are looking after our, like, ethics and stuff. That is not saying that, you cannot cooperate, you cannot operate. No, it's based on the ethical principles. You know, so if the media council, if a lot of investment is made into the media council, then government is protected. Even President Barrow will be protected against whatever they call false news or irresponsible publications, because he can go to the media council and say, this is what is happening. Or sometimes you don't even need to go. Whenever it happens, then the media council will intervene. And then we have lesser problem, and that is it happens. It is accepted. Yes, journalists, I also blame media owners. You know, sometimes it's very sad to say, but you just want to bring someone from maybe just one day, and then you want them to go. You know, that's a problem. One, you will have a credibility issue. People, that is why I said the media literacy aspect of it. If people are well grounded and they understand how to consume content responsibly, then if maybe, for example, if Mustapha News, Mustapha News is not giving news, you know, there was, these people are jokers, and people will not listen to them. You understand? So that is very important. But Mustapha, that is not stopping Mustapha for also scrutinizing the staff of what kind of staff, what kind of people that come, you know, and then what is their capacity. You know. So I think it's important. It has to be both ways. Yes, and media should be everyone's business. It should be everyone's business. Because if not, one, the country may go into chaos, or the country may go into that suspicious stuff where politicians will think that, yes, this media house is biased, this is not biased. So it should be everyone's business. Because media is the life, like is the blood of a country, is the blood, it is the engine. that creates awareness. So if you don't have that business into the media, then you create a chaotic, system. Yeah. So government should be very serious and invest in the media.
Yes,
yeah.
Now, Mustapha, are you concerned? You and I, we both work on platforms that are online, and we basically compete with the ordinary citizen. I've said this sometimes. I remember, I think we talked about this sometimes. Sometimes people have, they have documents, they have stories that are really credible, but instead of giving it to journalists to work on it, and because sometimes you just have these documents, you just don't put them out there. That is very dangerous. Now, it's the role of that journalist to go back there, look at that document. What is the motive behind it? Why did it happen? And all of that. Now, if you're competing with that person who is also trying to get the leaks, because they have contacts at State House, at the audit, and everywhere, and they get the information. Now, you might be working on that story. By the time, it might take you weeks to finish that story. By the time you're done, that story is already out there. It is already, it's not news anymore. Now, you have to compete with those people. But also, when people brand these people, those people that are, who does these publications online, whenever they brand them a certain way, they puzzle us all together. And that makes it also very difficult. How do you walk around this to distinguish yourself from people that are not in the news business, but they're just pushing an agenda, and at the end of the day, their agenda is to promote their political party, expose what other people are doing in government, compared to the media, whose role is not that. The role is to inform and expose any dealings of anybody who is in public office. How do you distinguish your work from that kind of stuff?
Well, I think all of this are useful institutions. For me, every institution that goes to expose any form of government transaction is useful information. Is useful institution. Whether they are political parties, political institutions, institutions established by political parties, or they are driven by individuals that have certain interests. For me, all those are important institutions. All that we need to do as journalists, because those people, they publish raw info, they publish data, they just get an audit report.
Citizen journalists, right?
Citizen journalists. So they get information, they publish. For us, we process. We process until it's a product, and then we publish. So if, for example, you publish an audit report, so in journalism, I think we call it leak reporting. So you get an audit report, you go online and you publish. You get a letter, intercept a letter that was sent from State House to NAWEC, and it has some very nice information. You get it, you publish. That's leak reporting. Now we go find out what that content is about, who sent it, and what it's meant to do. And then we weave it around, and people who are involved, whose interest is affected, whose interest is served, and things like that. And then we publish. So we process information. Those folks, they just get it and they publish it. And sometimes for me, as a journalist, and I often say that investigative journalism is not difficult, because much of the information you need to do any story is already outside. It's already outside. It's already out there. All that you need to do is to sit down with a calm head and do some online research. You will get to find something. And this is made possible because of citizen journalists and because of interest group, opposition party papers, NPP online, whatever. I mean, people, when they fight, they share stuff. Of course, it takes some time to verify the authenticity, but it's much better when you have something to verify than when you have nothing to verify. So all these institutions are very important, and I think they should all be very helpful, right? And I think they should all be allowed to flourish. I think what's the problem is that it is the government, it is the people who are corrupt, and the politicians who, out of the desire to control the narrative, want to control the people. This is all about controlling the people. People are not donkeys. They should, and they often tell you, Rwanda, this is their favorite example. Rwanda. But you're talking about one incident of one radio broadcaster who caused a war. Well, you fail to talk about all the politicians who have ravaged their countries from the beginning of time to now. I mean, there is no institution in the world notorious, not even remotely, close to government, everywhere in the world. The citizens have largely just been trying to push back. They always trying to push back. Who is in charge of the military? It's the government, the police, the courts. You know, every institution that you need to control and deny someone their liberty is the government. And so the government shouldn't be pointing fingers at the media. All that the media does is to allow people the opportunity to express themselves and allow people the opportunity to hold the government to account. And we do this either through investigative journalism or through online platforms like this or through talk shows and things like that. Now, for me, when they come up with some of these box things to sort of, I see it as an attempt to censure individuals, not genuinely, because even those online people, they also represent opinion.
They do.
You know, and they are followed. There are a number of people who follow them. So if they come and express a certain sentiment, if government feels this sentiment is dangerous, it's not right, government has more media access than anybody other person.
Yes.
Government could just simply come and counter what they consider false news with accurate news. And now what happens? The people have the capacity to now look at the two things. But government knows. I mean, look at it. Look at if there is a problem if people trust an individual so much than the government.
That is clear.
Then the government should now go into a self-assessment.
Yeah, that's true.
And find out why people don't trust them and they trust this individual.
The individual. Now, one thing I wanted to bring, Mr. President, also is the talk about access and still dissemination. You know, when you go to Pura today, for the past 2 years, they have not been issuing license to commercial radios. Now, radios are still number one way of disseminating information in this country. If a government is withholding license for that, without no basic explanations, this was done way before, just before the presidential elections. Up to now, the ban is there and no one is talking about it. And nothing is happening. You're depriving the citizens of access to information because somebody somewhere wants to have a radio station that can be coverage all over the country. Now, is GPU pushing this? Because this is one of the areas that, you know, is also very important because radio is the most you know.
Survey has shown that on several occasions, the Afrobarometer, you know, compared to other countries, like some countries it changes, but generally in Africa, radio is currently dominating as of now. You know, the minister, the doctor, the new minister, you know, there was a discussion around it, and according to what he said, that he is you know, inquiring on it to get more information in that regard and take decisions on it. But I also learned that you know, that what happened is they were giving out you know, this frequency to people who are not using it.
And they still have the license sitting on that low station.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not operating. You want a license, they tell you, a license that is not even costing 100,000. Today they are selling license for over 1 million.
Exactly.
And they are not.
Then there is corruption.
And it's a serious
I'm telling you, I understand.
And
they'll tell you, I'll sell you my license for 1 million. Some people have 3 licenses.
Then this is corruption.
Some people have 3
That's
licenses.
what you guys should have reported. This is no longer a matter of them not issuing licenses.
Yes. So there's a problem.
It's like they do at the, I don't know.
But the thing is, if the license is open, the market will not be that. Because the market is, they're not issuing it. Now the people that have these licenses are sitting on it and they're selling it at that
I think you are looking at it Pura, no, for me, I think Pura brought the problem. What happened is, if you issue a license, there are regulations, there are laws.
Yes.
You have to operate. You have to be in operation.
I know people who have license for over 7 years.
Yes, but I think you guys are looking at it wrong. Let me finish.
Yeah.
You cannot have a license to a frequency.
8 years, 7 years.
And you are not operational.
And they still keep you.
Are you paying, are you renewing the license?
Yes.
Have you met the conditions of renewal
Nope.
of the license? So that is the problem. If you, yes, you have the right, Mustapha can apply. If you meet all the conditions, they have to issue a license and a frequency.
Yeah.
But Mustapha, you don't have the right to keep that frequency without being operational.
Yeah.
And now if I have the license now, then how can I sell the license to another person? When you got it for 100,000 and now I sell it to Fatou for 1 million.
That's what my point is.
Yeah, we are all. I think we are.
I think that what you guys are talking about is a classical case of corruption. So, for example, your job is to issue license. You make sure you issue 4 or 5 licenses, or 6 or 7 or 10 to individuals who are not using them.
Yeah.
And you stop. Yeah. And now, who knows who those people are working with? You issue 3 licenses, or you issue 2 licenses to an individual, and you know they are not using it. And for the longest time they are not using it. You're stopping other people from accessing licenses.
But one person has 3 or 4 licenses.
Exactly. But the point is that cannot be normal.
It's not normal.
That cannot be normal. That has to be profiting someone. That cannot be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a problem.
I think journalists should have looked.
Yeah, they have to.
That cannot be normal. Someone has to be profiting from that.
Yes. So now the minister is looking at it. According to what he says, he has already, he has already asked them to look at it, audit those that are.
But if there are interests that are being protected, then
but the minister, he is the authority, so he can know all these things. For me, I think Pura has failed there woefully. They have failed. I can say that. You cannot issue a license to someone and he's not operating. At the same time, what authority do we have to sell a license to another person for 1 million?
Some are even offering more than 1 million.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. If Pura,
but for me, that is an important thing.
It's something that we need to.
It's because it's not normal.
Yeah.
It is not normal.
Because for there to be
you cannot even resell a license. How do they?
From 2021 up to now, 2020, I think, an embargo on radio license up to now.
Yeah, because some are having the frequencies.
And there are people who have
a lot of frequencies.
A lot of frequencies have been issued that have not been operational.
Yes, they are not being operational.
Nothing at all.
Yes.
Yeah, so those guys, this is a business then.
Yeah. It is a business.
You give out a number of frequencies out to certain connected people, and they sell it, and all of you are in the same business. And you deny other people. So
it's a matter of the media asking the question. To Pura and making sure that people like to know the number of licenses that are not operational, and who are those people, and the number of licenses that are sold to other people from individuals to those people. I think it's a problem. But for me, I think if Pura was doing their job,
but how could an individual even sell a license he is not using to another person? Why would that be? If you are not using a license, you return it. Yours should be.
You don't even need to return it. You have to meet the criteria, and then Pura should be monitoring. If Pura was monitoring that, then they will not even reach at selling the license to others, or keeping the license,
or even renewing it for you, because I don't know what the conditions are. But for example, if you have a license, I guess
it's renewable.
You have to annually. But if you come back,
so how then do you renew?
If you come back to renew a license that you have not been,
that's what I'm saying. They can revoke your license and say you are not meeting the criteria.
This is business.
That's
Nobody does anything stupid. In my experience, no. There's no idiot.
There's no
Everyone does every stupid thing for a reason.
Yes, I agree.
There's
There
no
must be a
idiot.
reason
There's
behind
no
it.
idiot.
So now this is the case for journalists, for us to go and dig deep and know the issues, because it's not normal. This is not normal.
Nah.
Gambia is a small country, and look at how many number of radio stations do we have? We don't even have, compared to other countries like Senegal, even Dakar alone.
Yeah.
Like you have
Dakar alone has more radio stations than Gambia
exactly
combined.
You understand? So now, how many radio stations do you have, and how many frequencies can you have? So that should be the question. You understand? So now, as you said,
Yeah,
there must be
I
people
think those
benefiting
are,
from
those
that.
are
Yeah.
but it's unbelievable that journalists are the one affected by this and they didn't do the story. They didn't look into it.
I mean, I've said this on my show. This is the 5th time I'm saying it, because I have personally gone to look for a license and I was told there's an embargo, and I keep asking, there's still an embargo.
Yeah.
So I know about this, and I keep saying every time I asked Ismaila when he was here, every communication minister that came on my seat,
So, but did you ask him if there were frequencies that are with
when I raised the entire issue with him, he said, "Oh, I did not know, but I'll go back and check what is going on." And I said, "This is what is happening." He said, "Well, when I'm just coming in when I."
So that cannot be normal.
Yeah, but that is
not normal. And I can tell you for sure.
I know people who have.
Yes.
You know also.
Yeah, like people have license.
Yes, that are not operating.
This is the information I have.
Yes.
And from credible sources.
Yes.
That people are having license, and then they are keeping it.
I have known people that I've contacted, and they have offered to sell me their license.
So you see,
I'm telling you,
and that's a problem.
And I said I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
They
do
are
that.
not authorities to sell the license.
Some even said I can understand that. One person told me to partner. Then I can even understand.
Yeah, why would if you don't have the capacity to operate, you should not have been issued a license.
Yeah. If you meet the conditions and now Pura, you are not operating, maybe at the first instance you can say, okay, you must have a transmitter, you must have a studio, you must have a financial blah blah blah. You know, the criteria are there.
Yeah.
When you are applying, you may at that time meet the criteria, but now maybe you decide, maybe it's a waste of time, let me just hold on to this. Then Pura comes in.
Yeah.
If they issue a license as a radio station, it's very easy to know.
Yeah, if
you will monitor the radio station to know that
Pura is
are they operational
checking
or not.
Who's calling on King FM.
So these are the things. These are the
radio. Instead of checking the license,
these are the things.
These are the things they should be looking at.
Yes.
But instead they are busy checking what King FM people are calling on.
No,
King
that
FM
is ethical.
That is
what I said.
King FM.
I think they should look into that again. You know, the ethical aspect of it. You know, as I said, we have to look into it to make sure that we empower the media council. You know, that is the area of experts, that like media experts and some experts, human rights, government, you know, to be very independent. But you cannot also just call maybe a director and say, please go and close this radio station. We've seen it during Jammeh's era. Like go and you know, yëngal leen tuuti rek.
Mr. President, but gis nañ ko fi tam.
Wow, that Barrow tamit the same. We can say that Pura was like the letter that they sent was so harsh, and then we had to go and discuss with them and tell them that, you know, at least you cannot do this.
Yeah.
You know, you can.
Now that was a blunder, but I think they admitted later on, even though it wasn't in the nature of most Gambians to come out and say we were wrong, but I think the fact that they withdrew it.
But all of these
progressive. It was very progressive.
But all of these things, Mr. President, from the arrest of media owners, personnel, from these letters from Pura, from the attacks from politicians, the president himself, do you think all of this are the reason why we have this new cyber bill coming? Now, first, let's look at the new cyber bill. When you saw this bill, when I saw it, I said, because we don't have a license. I see a lot of people, you see, this morning I saw somebody wrote something, we love Brikama. He wrote to the Minister of Information, telling the minister that the minister should they should do everything possible to remove What's on Gambia from on Facebook, to report their page to Facebook, because the What's on Gambia is promoting tribalism in our country. You know, these are things, and the reason why these things, I call them out, the reason why I say these things, they are alarming, because this is what my media house go through every single day. Political supporters telling us, the president, yesterday somebody, two days ago, my grandmother was laughing at, she was listening to this audio online when somebody was saying, Fatura, nyada bako birkama luba, and my grandmother, somebody said, and I was laughing. My grandmother was listening and she was just laughing, like the way this person was saying it. But you know that when people bully you online, when people go after your platform, when people say all these things to medias, and they're telling the principal, the president, or the ministers, you should go after this media. And we have seen that happen. The Bora case, it was some of the NPP supporters who were calling for his arrest. And we saw he was arrested. The second time also, he was that. So those things raised a lot of alarm for me. Now, when I saw the cyber bill, I said, you know, I think this is directed at us. Now, when you saw the bill, first, let's look at the bill. What came to mind when you saw the bill?
Yeah, like one, it's unfortunate that they didn't consult all the relevant stakeholders. I'm not saying they haven't done a consultation. Maybe they have done. You know, there are certain level of consultation. You know, you have the passive, you have the tokenism, you have, you know, a consultation just to inform. You know, you have, you know, different kind of levels of consultation. An interactive consultation. There was no interactive consultation with the relevant stakeholders, including the GPU, including the Media Council. And I even reached out to the Ministry of Information concerning about this bill. I'm not sure, because the bill didn't emanate from them. It came from the Communication Ministry.
Communication Ministry?
Yes, the Communication Ministry brought the bill. There was a time when I was watching, I think, one of the TVs, and I saw it.
Digital economy?
Yes, digital communication and digital economy.
Digital economy.
That ministry. It came from in 2023, March. When I saw the news, and I screenshot the
news. Have you ever heard that minister on any platform? Have you ever seen him even
You should invite him. You should invite him. So what happened is, I think sometimes you have good intentions. Maybe it's a good, they did it out of a goodwill, I don't know. But the approach is problematic. The clauses that are there are problematic. And, you know, if you are bringing in laws and policies, you have to make sure that you do it holistically. Because one, government should avoid contradicting itself. Always. Like, you cannot bring laws that, for example, the TRRC recommendation, is telling you that repeal these laws, and you say, yes, we have accepted.
We have accepted your recommendation.
And now the same laws,
you're bringing
the same laws. And even government's promises in terms of legal reforms, these are the things that they promise, that these are bad laws. So now if you are bringing the same laws and putting them inside, like you're copying the same wordings, the same clauses, the same context, you are copying it in a bill to bring it and making it a law, whilst you didn't even repeal. You are thinking of repealing the law. So it's a serious contradiction. You understand? So I believe just like the access to information, whenever the laws are let's say well crafted, well engaged, there is a well engagement, like the interactive engagement, not just like consultation, tokenism, and whatever. Everybody embraces it. For example, look at the anti-corruption law. Everybody embraces it. Look at the access to information law. These are very progressive laws. And no one will tell you that these laws are bad. And it's government, obviously, through the civil society, GPU, we brought it in. And then everyone embraced the law. But this law is very problematic. And as I said, there is a serious contradiction. For example, we cited over 11 sections that are very problematic.
In this one bill?
Yes.
Okay.
There are a lot of sections that are problematic, not only for journalists. Not only for journalists. For example, there's a section, if I can just cite it, around section 5 of the bill. It covers about child pornography, you know, and then they didn't list some of the computer-related offenses. They just say child pornography in general, and then looking at other things that they mention in the law. Like, for example, if an adolescent, for example, you want to learn something in terms of, you know, maybe academic wise. For example, you know, we used to do pop FLE in school.
Yeah.
You know, in that setting, if a child, not a child, like an adolescent, not a child, obviously, you know, they are trying to learn something, and then this one is restricting children from being exposed to those kind of things. What would you call that? It's a contradiction.
It's a contradiction.
Well, yeah, like you are telling people that they cannot learn, you cannot teach people reproductive
health,
like real thing, then you call it a pornography. So I think those are specifications. Now, going into some of the laws that are attacking directly the media is the false news.
The false news.
And false publication. And the TRRC has said that this law is not a good law. Because they have attacked, politicians were attacked because of this. Civil rights advocates were attacked because of this. Journalists, media houses were attacked. And even looking at the ECOWAS, looking at the ECOWAS Community Court has ruled that Gambia should remove this false news or false publication from our books.
Is it not the same that the Supreme Court ruled on in 2018?
Yes, sedition. That is about sedition.
That is sedition,
it's sedition. These are things, you know, after the ruling you have other statement, I don't know how they call it. You know, it's part of the judgment to highlight some of the things that should not be condoned in the law, that are unconstitutional. But the ECOWAS directly has said that. And this is the TRRC recommendation stating that the false publication and broadcasting which place severe restriction on the media and freedom of expression should be removed from the book. But it's there. It's in this law. And
the government has already accepted these recommendations from the TRRC. But they still took them out and bring it and copy a new bill.
And it is there. So for me, my own understanding about cybercrime, it's not bad to have regulations. For example, in Ghana, in 2008, they brought a law, it's called the Electronic Cyber Whatever Crime Law. This law is mainly created to, for example, protect journalists even, protect individuals. For example, I cannot barge into your own computer and steal your material, or I cannot just come and hack your information. You know, that is bad. Or I cannot just use certain information from your computer without your consent. You know, so those are the crimes that for me, that my thinking was, that is the way that this law, that should have been the main emphasis of this law, to ensure that people are protected, their privacy, they are, you know, like you cannot bring things, you cannot also maybe put me in a funny situation in terms of stealing my, like the attack on the central bank, you know, those kind of things. Those kind of things. Or you see someone and you just, Mustapha, hey Mustapha, let me try and hack Mustapha. You know, if you hack Mustapha's computer, that's a crime. Or you steal Mustapha's information. Those kind of things. But you cannot put certain things before Mustapha comes. There are certain provisions that are also very, very problematic. For example, looking at the lack of clarity regarding what constitutes incitement and bullying. You know, bullying is vague, abuse and derogatory remarks. These are in the laws and they are not well spelled out. So, for example, if I say, you're looking beautiful.
Yeah.
I know, just for example.
I can look at it as...
You can say, no, that's derogatory remarks. So,
yeah.
like, it's so easy as that.
Yeah.
Like, it's subjective. Like, the law is now leaving the interpretation to individuals.
Now, all those people leaving audios.
Yes, bullying. What is bullying?
Will be
yeah, what is bullying? So, those
have a lot of work to do.
What is incitement? So,
yeah.
I think there should be more, before the National Assembly passed this law, I will commend them that they are engaging and they are listening to individuals like Article 19, like GPU. I think even the Bar Association has an interest over this.
Yeah.
You know, civil society may be engaging them as well. Let them take their time, because we don't want to be caught in a situation that we are trying to repeal these laws and bring in the same laws, creating more problems for ourselves. So, yeah, basically.
Mustapha, MS just brought something that I didn't even take note of. These were recommendations that were made by the TRRC, and the government said we have accepted everything. I think it was just 1 or 2 things that they did not accept.
Minor,
they accepted 90% of the TRRC recommendations.
99, you can say 99.
Out of the 99, this false news publication is one of them.
Yes.
And now we have seen them bringing back this in a bill that is labeled cybercrime. And why do you think government will do something? Is that not contradicting yourself? We have accepted this holistically. They could have said, oh, this the false news, we don't want to accept it, and just take it out when they were accepting the TRRC, but they accepted it. Now, why do you think they change?
I think, you know, there are two fundamental things that are very good ingredients for a restricted media environment. One is toxic partisanship, and two is corruption. When there is a rising corruption, and two, when there is a rise in toxic partisanship, and the political climate is very rough.
Yeah.
There are tendencies by governments, by rulers to, in an effort to either control their opponents or to keep power for themselves for a long period, to control the media or attempt to do so.
Yeah.
I think these are the two primary motivations for things like this. So, for example, if you have like this cybercrime bill, particularly the aspects that deal with false publication. Or
cyberbullying,
or publication,
false publication and broadcasting.
It says with the intent to cause harm or use a computer system to spread false news information against a person, incite violence against a person, bully, abuse, or make derogatory remarks against a person, impersonate a person, blackmail, or threaten to commit a criminal offense against a person.
Exactly. So some of these things could, even investigative journalists could be targeted.
Yeah,
easily.
Exactly.
They are vague. They don't belong to a democracy. But primarily, also, these are tools you would use when you have a corrupt government, or you are having a toxic political environment where you want to control your opponents, or you want to control activists, and you feel like if people said things like the president, this is not true, this is a lie.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then they would be considered to have made a derogatory remark against the
person of the president.
Even though already sedition still applies to the president. But this one makes it, even if you a supporter of the president, for example, you insult a supporter of a president, he could use it. This is derogatory remark. And what is a derogatory remark?
It's subjective. You can tell someone Iman Tonyafo and he will not be offended. And you tell someone another Iman Tonyafo and then he will be
and so it's very how the police. That is why, in fact, on Facebook I have said that these are, don't bring in laws what is for imams to address. These are social, moral.
That is for the imams.
Yes, that's for the imams,
religious leaders, traditional leaders
to address.
I mean, ordinarily, in a productive society, would people go about insulting? No.
No.
People should just be busy with something, and but the fact that people are insulting doesn't necessarily mean that you would need a law The Gambia police don't even have the capacity to implement this.
Exactly. How many people are they going to arrest?
Because they are, you know, the issue it's more too broad. This is for imams to address.
But the cyberbullying also is very concerning. A person who uses a computer system with intent to repeatedly cause fear, intimidation, humiliation of order, or damage another person's health, emotional well-being, or self-esteem. For example, if you are an investigative journalist, you write stories, you have facts. Now, in trying to write that story, number one, you will identify the person.
Of course.
What they have done. If it is embarrassing, it can be considered as humiliating. That person can
can use the law against you.
It's criminal to even do that.
Yeah, for me, I think the law, as Mustapha rightly stated, is vague. Like, what is derogatory? What is bullying? What is bullying? You know, when we are making laws, it's to address issues. It's not to create more problems. And also, we want to create a more just and free society. But if you bring laws that are, censoring, because this is going to attack not only journalists,
politicians more.
Yes, politicians more. Because they are the ones that they throw jabs at each other. That's what I'm saying.
Now, it should be more concerning.
Even when President Barrow said the nar bitiki nar.
Yeah.
That could be derogatory.
Yes, to nice.
That could be like passive.
Yeah.
To be derogatory. So for me, I think like it's these vague terms, they are subjected to interpretation. So we have to be very careful what
they are not targeting. The problem, in fact, is MS. The law doesn't target. It doesn't strive to solve a problem.
Yes.
There is no problem with all of these things. The law is not like if we are talking about hacking, for example.
Exactly.
The law, most of the things that are mentioned here are conventional crimes. They are not cyber crimes. They are not related to hacking or any of this, or phishing or any of this.
Those are the kind of things.
They just relate. These are just conventional crimes.
For me, always, mostly when we are making laws, let's best practice is allowed. Look at what is happening within your sub-region.
Within the world.
And also, this law, according to our position paper, and even the Article 19, UN is have drafted a convention on cybercrime. I think even the ECOWAS, and AU, this law has not met the minimum standards of cybercrime laws. Cybercrime laws, yes, they are allowed.
They are allowed.
Ghana, you have it. Like, for example, it protects even, for example, if an attack, someone deliberately attack State House, their Facebook account.
Yes.
Or deliberately attacks Facebook, like the website. That is a crime. You hack it and then maybe we put some things that are not there. That's a crime.
Yeah.
Or you attack Mustafa's personal laptop and you hack everything. You steal their personal data. You understand? Or you put malware, what they call, I think, malware. You put some viruses, to disintegrate their system.
Yeah.
That is cybercrime. Or you use online to scam people.
Yeah.
Or attack people just to scam them, or put them into some kind of attacking their rights.
Yeah.
Yes, that is cybercrime.
That's a cybercrime.
But this kind of things, I think, is problematic, and it doesn't meet the.
This one is merely using a mobile phone or a computer to commit a crime. But mostly conventional crimes.
I want to cite Article 19.
Yeah.
Some of the things they said during the engagement with stakeholders, we insisted on several key issues that render the bill problematic for freedom of expression and freedom of the media. For instance, one, the bill would make an alarming scope of online speech crime under the disguise of combating cybercrime. The majority of the proposed offenses have nothing to do with cybercrime, apart from having the word cyber or computer attached. He said the bill would make the media organization, civil society, and their senior leadership individually criminally liable for stories and investigations. Under the bill, senior leadership of corporations, entities would be individually criminally liable for actions of entities, and they would have to have the burden to prove that they actively conducted due diligence or to publish content. The publication of evidence or data in the public interest could be criminalized. The computer crime offenses are so broadly worded that they make any unauthorized act in relation to a computer or data a crime. The bill would create significant police and surveillance powers that in some cases are subject to non-judicial or similar independent oversight. The bill will criminalize digital security and legitimate academic or security research. Other police powers include the liability to force service providers to compel the description of content, as well as hold a mere possession of digital security tools without intent to commit any crime of a criminal of itself. So these are things, some of the things that we raised that are very problematic, and they made recommendations. Now, if this bill passes,
as it is, which I am not sure.
It is.
I'm not sure the National Assembly will. I don't know.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I don't think so. With all this alarm.
Yeah. And they themselves they have the biggest stake in this. As politicians, what they do is throw jabs at each other, keep each other accountable.
And what they should remember before you come, you know, one thing, you can be an opposition or you can be incumbent, and the next day you are an opposition. And we have to always be very careful when we are in power. Our actions, you know, we've seen Jammeh when he was in power, and then he had to ban, I think, suspend the Supreme Court judges and whatever. And you know, it haunts him. It haunted him seriously. When he wanted them to see, he wanted the election, and they could not, he cannot mobilize them. And there was no Supreme Court. So, there were no Supreme Court judges. You know, people should be very careful, like the laws we put in place. And then today, you are here. And yes, you are a National Assembly. Tomorrow, you may not be a National Assembly member. And then you may want to maybe throw stones, you know, and then say things, you know, you know, this thing is not working, blah, blah, blah. Then the law haunts you. Because you were there, you put the law there. And then now you are not there, the law is haunting you. So we have to be very careful. I'm not sure. I think they are very sensible National Assembly members, and they have a very sensible staff. You know, I'm not saying everyone, the National Assembly members, I'm not saying, but there are sensible people there, very sensible people who understand issues. So let them not, let them try to check the laws very well. Let them make sure, you know, even if it is, because sometimes they will want to, they say study talk. If they cannot, let them allow individuals who have the expertise, who understand the international laws, international jurisdictions, and also within the sub-region. I cited Ghana. They have a law. They have a cybercrime. But some of these things...
Mr. President, let me come.
Yes.
It is not that they don't know whether these laws are good or bad. Now, let me tell you this. The Minister of Digital Economy, Usman Ba, went to school. He spent all of his life in one of the biggest democracies in the world, in the United States of America. Now, don't tell me he doesn't know these things are taking us years back. No, he does. He does. He knows these things. Now, this is what politicians, the most intelligent in our society. People that are educated and they know these things, they use them to bring things just for their own interest. And this is the fact.
I mean,
because someone like him,
in fact,
he knows very well how dangerous a law like this is.
Very dangerous.
In fact, in the past,
and he will not come to the media to defend it anywhere. You will not see him defend this. It's going to be the likes of Ismaila who will defend it. He will not come anywhere to defend this. And you still want to pass this. You know in America where you went to school, you learn the best education, and you know that these things are not applicable. Gambia is a signatory to all these
conventions.
We went through a dark past, and we should not sit and watch people come and use the system and do stuff like this to people who are in this profession.
Even the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, if you look at the United Nations Human Rights Committee, they did a comment on comment 34, number 35, if I can recall. It is extensively even highlighted that freedom of expression cannot be compromised by bringing in laws that are very restrictive. You cannot bring laws that are very restrictive. When you say probably, sometimes I think maybe the minister, let me say the minister, because he's the
head of the department,
sometimes it's because of the lack of consultation. When you are exposed to certain information, maybe the people that he is consulting are telling him that people are telling him, yes, this is what you should do. But what I'm saying, as a country, there are key stakeholders that have a stake in everything that government does. Because everyone is saying, it's the public interest, it's the interest of the public. Now, what they should do going forward is, because I know there will be a bill on data protection also, I'm privy to that. What they should do is to ensure that, whatever they are doing, let them consult people. Civil society, they are experts, like people who understands international jurisdiction, who understands laws, who understands freedom of expression, who understands human rights. These are basic human rights things that should be understood, that you cannot bring this thing to restrict people from their rights to freedom of expression. And also you cannot put these things to attack people, because this is attacking people. If you tell people bullying, if you tell people derogatory remark, then anything can be considered derogatory remark. Mustapha is talking about when we have a toxic political environment. Someone may even say, no, Mustapha, don't say that. You understand what I'm saying? So let us be very careful. For me, my concern is, let them make sure that the National Assembly, now they have the chance to correct this thing.
I hope.
I hope that, because even the Human Rights Commission, everybody should, because for example, Mustapha, the reason why, look at Madi Jobate. Now, when Madi was arrested, I said this on my show. I said, look, I don't know who is not concerned, but I am very concerned. If somebody like Madi Jobate is arrested, and just because he wrote something, an opinion that did not incite or do anything, violence nati bangkokang, right? If people like Bora just write a question, your mother this, and you arrest that person, those kind of things, these are little details that people should keep an eye on. These are the things that brought this law. Now they're saying, but now let's have it written in a law form and we put it there. What Nimbi is self-censorship.
Because it cannot be called cybercrime bill then.
It's not a cybercrime.
It cannot be called
a story.
It cannot be called a cybercrime.
If Gajigo writes a story, or Mustapha writes a story on Republic, and I share it on Kerr Fatou, I'll be liable, criminally liable for that content. I'll be criminally liable for content that they think, defame somebody.
And even the ICT, and even the most problematic also is, I think there's a clause that cited that security can confiscate your, the ICT is in the ICT Act 2013, the amendment is there. Imagine, I think the same wording is in the cybercrime bill, that they can search, confiscate your mobile phone or whatever to check. Well, the police have already been doing that.
Yeah, but that is wrong.
And they
Everyone they arrest,
is
they've
wrong.
been
It has to
taking
go
their
through a
phones,
judicial
and they never returned it.
Even when the judge saying go, judge will give the telephone back, they don't give.
So you cannot, a police, because it's about checks and balance.
Swear to God.
I can be a police officer. I have
But they find it.
no, I can have an individual
Why did you
issue.
go with the phone to the police?
No, let me go first.
Yes, I've said I don't have a
I can
phone.
IGP to the Bora telephone available. You can no injustice. It's my uncle, but he says
but now you can raise it with the IGP.
I'm
again.
raising it.
Yeah, so if they arrest you, you just leave your phone at home.
No, what I'm telling you is, and that law is also very problematic. You cannot tell people ordinarily to give you your laptop. I can have problem with Mustapha, and I'm a police officer.
Yeah.
I can call Mustapha. I have the right to look at your laptop, and nail a laptop or that. I can even delete some of the files. So what happens is very problematic. The law, you cannot just come as a police officer, mobile or tar, without a judicial warrant. It has to go through certain procedures and processes. Whatever you are doing, it has to go through the law, by the law. I can individually, I can do it.
But you look at it, these things,
MS.
they didn't even find it. No. You know, MS, let me just tell you something.
Who is policing the police?
Let me just tell you something.
MS, who is policing them?
If it were relevant to evidence, if it were relevant to the case, they wouldn't have taken the phones away. All the phones they were taking had zero connection to the case.
Evidence, yeah.
The crime committed is not stored in the phone.
It's on the internet, out there.
It's on the internet.
Yeah.
Exactly. You already have it.
Do you see? You already have it. You don't need a phone for that. And these phones, they never returned
They
it.
never return it.
Yeah.
At some
Whatever
point, we
reasons,
should
I
go and
think
ask.
whether they have the capacity to unlock it, I doubt, because I don't think.
You know, I think what we should also be checking.
But
Look,
because
Mustapha,
if they do, they can be just going through
we
your
should
phone
be
and see who
asking
you
if the
talk to.
police are taking.
Imagine if the police have my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Imagine.
I would rather destroy it. I would rather
Police open the numbers.
But that is not
I will
right.
not give you my phone.
But that is not
The phone is just for you.
No, but it's not correct.
It's not meant for police or
The
any
police
other individual.
cannot and should not have your personal belonging without a judicial oversight. But it's in the
But that is what I am saying. But in fact, we are talking about a situation where the phone is not connected to any crime. You know, if the phone is connected to a crime, like for example, the case of the guy who bombed in the US and the FBI needed his iPhone, and they went to
But even that,
but it has
even that, they look at the process that they went through.
There must be a process.
Yes, but because the phone is connected to crime,
Yes.
needed the phone.
Yeah.
But in these cases, we are talking about the phone is not material evidence.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? I'm talking about in all cases of confusion.
Yeah, even there is material evidence or perceived.
No, but let's even give them that. If there is a material evidence, there's a national security issue, or a crime has been committed, and the phone serves as a material evidence. There is something in the phone which helped in committing that crime.
Yeah.
We can even sit and debate that. But I'm telling you, the phones in question are not material evidences in the committal of those crimes.
Anyway,
And
so for me, I
They just confiscate and they never return.
The police cannot do that.
But they never return that.
They cannot do that without a judicial. For me, I believe these are very bad laws.
But the thing is,
These are
all
so that
these
is why
phones-
National Assembly members, they have to be very careful
You know,
in bringing these laws.
already the police are taking people's phones. I have known over 5 people. Mini alonko the telephone the police will over 2 years. I saw Fatina the telephone iPhone will be police will 3 years. Ngama 2 years imadira. Borala telephone mi alonko. The judge even ruled. There was a ruling. Give him back his phone. You don't want to pay him the money. I understand, don't pay. But
they've not yet paid the money.
They never paid that money. They never give him back his own.
Is how much? 500,000.
Yes, and
areas against the state.
It will be paid anyway.
It doesn't matter today or tomorrow.
You know, if this
and for me,
Jamie, you know how many areas Barrow paid when he came? $2 billion.
Yeah, but for me,
the Carnegie, there was a Carnegie.
For me, what I think is right is whenever there is a problem, like for example, when there is a problem and then the IGP messed up, per se, he messed up on a case, like for example, Bora's issue. He arrested, like, because it's under his custody, obviously. And then the guy took the case to the courts, and the courts said the police should, the state should pay. For me, in that case, the money should come from the IGP himself.
Yes.
Because one, this is coming from the taxpayers' money, and the taxpayers, we've not done anything.
We've not done anything.
Yeah.
It's coming from me. But if that is why it's important to have account, to help people to account. So we should have those kind of laws. By this time,
to ensure that Jama got up here, arrested folks, Fatou Kamara, Alaji, Job, Lamin Fati, all. I mean, he did so recklessly.
Yeah.
But in the end, it was state who paid
for it.
So that is the problem.
So whatever happens,
I remember Sedikan, Mahdi Sisi. No, Mahdi was not paid for. Sedikan was not paid for, but he's also going to be Sedikan's own. I think is $200,000.
Yeah, and it's going to be paid by the state. It will be paid.
So that's
this will be paid. Whatever it takes.
And most of the time is NIA at the time, the junglers, or most of the time is NIA.
Yes.
But so now you are telling the state to pay, and the state will get that money. Yeah. So people, that is why accountability is important. Individual accountability.
I think the only solution is where you sue individuals.
Yeah, you sue. That's what one of the political leaders told me. At this point, we should not be suing
the state.
It is us. Sue the individual officer or the IGP who was in charge.
Yeah, but mostly if you sue the IGP obviously they will tell you to serve the Justice Ministry, whatever. And then
I think this lawyer can do that. Yeah, but I think for me, what is problematic is, for example, these laws, right, that we're talking about, the cybercrime, if it's passed and any other law, is implemented by police officers.
Yeah.
And all of us as citizens are supposed to respect the laws of the country. Why do we go to court to seek for justice? And when the laws, I mean, you could say anything about the president. When the Supreme Court ruled that Yakumba should go back to the National Assembly, he accepted it.
Yes.
And she went back.
Yeah.
Now that is an example that every Gambian should look up to. If the president can do that, who is the IGP?
And the National Assembly was sued. The 58, is it the 54 million?
The 54 million, the loan back and everything. If lawmakers and the president, who is the #1 citizen, can accept rulings, who is the IGP when the judge says, give this person their phone, give this person their article, pay them this much, and you don't do it, and you are the one who is supposed to hold all of us accountable when it comes to enforcing the laws. That's why I keep saying
the Justice Ministry, because the Justice, for me, I'll not only blame the IGP, but the Justice Ministry should make sure that that verdict is respected. They should. It's not only the IGP.
Job of the Minister of Justice.
The Minister of Justice. They should compel. They should make sure that the state respect that. And
in fact, in other countries, it's the Attorney General who is in charge of police.
Yeah. No, even here, because
in the US, for example, the FBI is under the Attorney General.
Yeah. No, even here, whenever they have cases, it goes through the Attorney General.
Yeah, but here, administrative-wise, they are under the Ministry of Interior. I'm saying
respect them.
MOI, you are right.
Why do we have laws?
Yeah, but the essence is that, the problem has been, whether it's in respect of laws or it's in respect of institutions, the problem has been, it is human desire that people have been following. We're not sort of laws. We have good laws, we have bad laws. But the problem is that people like journalists, if you expect most people wouldn't like an investigative journalist.
No.
Because investigative journalists expose wrongdoing and most people just don't want to quit wrongdoing.
Yeah.
Most people don't want fair play for a political level. Fair play.
Yeah.
If you are the president, you are the one who owns the government, and you should have control over things. And so these, these are the kind of things that create this kind of situation. It's not just that people don't know, we hope we can implement these laws and have better impact. No, these things are not about better. Because, for example, this law,
the bill,
if you read it, and you ask the person who is trying to introduce it, what do you hope this would change?
Yeah.
They certainly, you will find it difficult to convince you.
Yeah.
Really. Except irrespect of hacking and all those things. But in respect of this false news, all these things, cyberbullying,
what they say in the introduction of the Cybercrime Bill 2023 is aimed at improving the Gambia's capacity to respond to cybercrime incidents adequately, according to the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. Yeah. So
cyber crimes.
Yeah,
Not journalists writing a story.
But these things we are talking about
These are not related to anything like this.
Definitely, I think we should also know what the parameters of cybercrime
is. Yeah.
What should be
the Minister of Digital Economy should know.
He knows.
Anyway, but the way they are acting, sometimes you may know something and then you are acting differently. But I'm not sure. But now is the information that I'm exposed to. That is what is what is helping me to have an opinion over this.
Over this, yeah.
So they should understand the parameters. What should be in or what should not be in.
But do you think, how would this affect journalism? For example, if this law passed, God forbid it doesn't pass this way.
It will happen.
How, for example, censorship? People will try to censor themselves, and this is what happened during Jammeh's time. Some people censored themselves because they don't want to go to jail. They don't want to be criminally liable for certain things. Now, how does that affect the progress we have already started making to hold public officials accountable?
I'll give you an example. In East Africa, in many media houses, they will tell you children issues, they don't report it. Your editor will tell you. Because you have to go through certain rigorous, you understand? I'm not saying it's normal, it's okay, because children should be given a voice. But you have to look at, if this picture is good, if that, Hope is the custodian, you understand? You have to go through a rigorous process. So now if they start building this law, if you are writing, you say, okay, hope this one is not derogatory. Hope this one is not, you understand what I'm saying, inciting violence. Hope this one is not, something like, so you will, that self-censorship will be there. And the information will start diluting, people will start diluting the information. And which is not correct. As media houses, you should give undiluted, unhindered, uncensored information to the public. Because that is our role as media professionals. So this law, just to try to tell people, when there is a law that says you have to do A, B, C, D before you give out information, it makes it difficult. People think twice, and it doesn't work like that. But also it brings problem. When people are fed up with something, they have a pushback. So this law, before we create that commotion, before it comes, it brings more problem than solving problems. It's better we look at the law itself. As I said, we need the parameters, because false publication is problematic. It is, because Jammeh has used it over and over and over again. Derogatory remarks. It's not only journalists.
No, for everyone.
That wouldn't even be for journalists.
No, we are not usually affiliated with.
That will be for politicians.
Mostly we will not be using, like,
for politicians.
You hear a politician will say, the Dilmos. We've had that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
we don't use those kind of
if this law had been passed,
Yeah.
Ibrahima would have been charged under this law.
Yeah. Yes.
It's more convenient to charge him under this law
yeah.
than
Than
under
the
sedition.
sedition charges they have.
Yeah. So you see,
That would be easy.
yeah.
More convenient.
So that's the problem. So it brings more problem. It will even not even journalists, it will censor citizens.
Yeah. And that is why, you know, what we should aspire to have is a mature democracy where we have conversations around certain things.
Thank you.
And so that where there is just mere information, and you have the capacity to, if you have worries that this information is inaccurate, you have the capacity to release accurate information. And government has more access to media than any other institution in the country.
Of course.
So government cannot excuse itself, uses excuses like this, like there is being false news all over the place, to come and restrict the media environment. That cannot be justified.
I think not only to be reactive, they have to be proactive. When government is proactive, then you give less, less room, less space for whatever you call false news or rumors. You understand? For example,
Or misinformation.
Yeah.
For example, the Bantabas.
Yeah.
This Bantaba, this I think their initiative.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That is a very good initiative. Like you allow proactiveness, like the Africa 50 issue.
Yeah.
It was signed in January, and then it had to wait until around March.
Until we saw it on the
until we
newspapers.
saw it.
We saw it on international media.
Imagine those people published that since like 4 months, 5 months back, rather, before us understanding, realizing that this was the issue. You understand? So government, at least they should be more proactive, and then also reactive is both. You have to be proactive, and reactive. You have to be both. But if you are only reactive, and people will be like, well, it's because Mustapha has published this. That is why. Look at the issue of the timber, the publication Al-Kamba.
Yeah.
I was like, Minister, you have all this information and you didn't say it.
Until Al-Kamba provoked something.
And now you are saying this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have diluted, like it would have. People would have said, no.
She claimed there is an ongoing investigation.
Investigation. Nobody seems to know about
it.
And the question now is, what is that ongoing investigation?
What is that ongoing investigation about?
Is the minister the subject of the investigation?
Or someone else?
Or someone else?
Under his ministry?
Yes, so she hasn't said anything. That is
basically
clear.
nothing, yeah.
So hadn't been the youth, they say, we have this is the incident, there are certain blah blah blah, they're involved in this, and then the ministry, the minister is taking a stand, the ministry rather.
Yeah.
There's an investigation, this is what happened. No one will investigate. Or maybe people will look at the process to accompany to know the logical conclusion of that investigation. But they wouldn't have, because this is news to me when I had the timber issue. I never knew that this
I never knew too until I saw her press statement today.
You understand?
We didn't publish it because we did not write the original stuff.
Yeah.
So we did it. But I think that's how it's ethical.
That's very ethical.
And there is something I often say.
Yeah.
Access to information will always be difficult.
Yes.
Unless there is absolute transparency. Yeah? There has to be absolute transparency for there to be access to information. And there cannot be transparency if there is corruption, endemic corruption. There will be lip service to it, there will be few cosmetic changes, but there will be no transparency. Yeah, because I mean, we go around stuff, we do stories, we're still working on stories, tons of stories, but it's difficult to get access to information except through friends and contacts you are able to build over time. And even that you have to make compromises. So there has to be friends. You have to have access through friends, and which means if you burn those bridges, you are cut out.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? That means you have to have leverages, and those leverages you also don't touch. So this is complex, you know. And for me, if you tell me there will be access to information, I just look at you and laugh. Because I know so much that is happening in the Gambia and in the government. That information will not be published. It will not be published. I can swear my life on it. It will not be published, because if it's published, if it gets published, big people are going to be in problem. That information, access to information, will never get there. It will not be published. What happens when the journalist asks the central bank governor about the grant they give to some selected number of individuals? He said, that information, they refuse to reveal it. They refuse to reveal even the names.
The names up to now,
because they wouldn't do
but
that.
the Jami assets.
Jami
assets. To release the names of people that they have sold.
So there are certain,
up to today.
There are certain things that will not be.
Anyway, that is the trend. That was the trend rather, and that is still the trend. But for me, I believe when we have a vibrant commission in terms of the access to information, and citizens are serious, I'm telling you, we can compel them. And
it's possible, but this is a long shot, because
it is.
You have commission in Ghana, you have it in Liberia, you have it in
Sierra Leone, even in Sierra Leone, it's struggling. But like at a degree, by extension, the people will. For me, is the people, because also in those countries that you are talking about, in those countries that you are talking about, according to the reports that are coming from those commissions, they will tell you it's few people that will come. It's journalists mostly that comes to imagine if a whole community like Badibu community, they've seen something happening around their end, and then they all bombarded the area council or NRA or the Minister of Transport, that you people are building this road. We want to know the road. We want to know the contract. We want to know. If people comes out in their large numbers and seek for information, government will be compelled. So it's the people. It depends, as you stated rightly, that it's the willingness of the people to push back.
And
that is the level of the implementation and the access to information.
One thing I have grown accustomed to over the period, as someone who's worked in this system for some time now, is that to have access to information is not the end in itself.
No, it's not.
It's the beginning of the work.
Yes.
Now, government has always learned to either give people what is called information overload. So, for example, you can bring us an expenditure data, say, for example, all the ministries, this is how much we spent between this point and that point. But this is bulk expenditure. So they give you bulk stuff. Okay. Or to say, OIC, we bought 100 vehicles, and this cost us $30 million. This is not information. This is information, but this is not information we can use to hold the government account.
What are the processes? And
OIC, we would need, how many vehicles did you buy? What are the brands of these vehicles? Who bought them? How was this contract issued?
The tender, whatever.
The tender process. Where is the contract document? We want to read it. You give it out. We read it. And then we go and find out and speak to people who are involved in the process. Who are the other bidders? And then we have access to the bid documents. And this is what information is. This is the only, because information is what enables you to be able to process and data. So we will have to get vital data to process and get an information. You see what I mean? So when you bring a minister to, say, a particular place, and you bring people who don't probably know what that minister do, and you come and ask them information. This is not access to information.
Yeah, that is
now, because in a lot of cases, some of those people who are even asking questions, they're just there for informational purposes. They don't have the capacity to scrutinize.
That's why you have the journalists.
Scrutinizing also requires a trained eye.
Yeah.
That's why you have a journalist.
Now, yes, but journalists don't have that kind of access.
Yeah.
Media service contract bill, for example, yourself, you would have wanted to read it, but did you read it? No, because it was not published.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
but it was done by Information Ministry, a ministry that's championing the access to information law. You do not find that contradictory. That the minister is saying, we signed this to promote access to information, but then the contract that you sign is not published. People do not know how many media houses you have hired until it was revealed. People did not even know this existed. Do you see the point?
Yeah.
So that's why I said yes, I would be pleased if access to information comes, yes, But for me, I'm more happy with my contacts.
But then with Mustapha, with the kind of job you do, if passed, God forbid, will you...
This one?
Yeah.
Will I do it?
Because at the end of the day, if you write a story about me, and I find that is defaming me, I find it as, for example, on the cyberbullying, it humiliates me and damages, my character.
Yeah, I don't know
when you write
why.
investigative stories about corruption,
Why would you
are directly, it affects somebody's reputation.
But how do you even determine that somebody has been humiliated?
That's what I'm saying.
Humiliation.
If I said
could be very subjective.
What is humiliation?
Subjective.
Yeah,
so,
Now, for this law, I think some of the clauses, like the 11 clauses that we highlighted, is a no-go area. They have to look at it, interrogate it seriously. And government, National Assembly should not be the ones that will bring laws. Like, if bad laws comes from the executive, bad bills, or bills that is why they bring it to the National Assembly for scrutiny.
Yeah.
So they can check how this law can address problems rather than bringing problems. If a law brings more problem than addressing problems,
then
so they should even look at the merit of the law, like the merits, whether if it is as it is, which I'm not sure. I think they may bring amendments to this law and remove everything that attacks press freedom and freedom of expression. They can also look at the TRRC recommendations or the white paper, because government has put all the things that they accepted in the white paper. Let them contrast and compare and look at it. Look at the position papers. Look at things that really are not relevant to the law, and then they just pack it out. And make sure that things that are relevant to the law, scamming, online scamming, phishing, malware, and whatever, that is real cyber
crimes.
The word cyber.
Yeah.
The parameters, as I said.
Yeah.
They look into it and then ensure that, yes, these are the relevant things to the law. Because if you bring, as we rightly mentioned, what do you think should be derogatory or same? What can?
Oh, humiliation.
Humiliation, exactly. Humiliation. Imagine, imagine those kind of things.
I'll be suing a lot of people from the WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, but the good thing, the thing is that
police even handle this.
The thing is, people will also be pushing back because, and that's what I said at the beginning. Democracy is made by the people.
Yeah.
So, and government is owned by the people. And we are not outside of those people. So if they come up with a regulation that we feel restricts the media environment, we will operate within the environment and we push back.
It happens during Jammeh's time when Jammeh was trying to, elbow the media, and then he even threatened to kill them, kill journalists, wipe out journalists. But we still survived. We survived it. And then the online platforms, you know, they contributed a lot. And there were a lot
What
of
this will do, if it goes, is going to empower those outside the country. And that could be very dangerous.
Inside.
You'll be
It could
creating
be a problem.
Yeah.
But that's what Jame did.
That's what Germany.
Yeah, it could be more problematic. You know,
For the government, even.
yeah, it could be more problematic. If you bring laws that are very problematic, people will really, really rally, you know, against you.
Yes.
And that's the fact.
Yeah.
You know, because we don't want to go to those days again. You know, we want to live in a Gambia where people's opinion will be respected.
Yes, sir.
You know, where people's right, because we don't also want government to be signing treaties, ratifying them,
And stay.
going to UN, expressing Gambia's commitment to respecting international laws, and then you are also protecting other people outside the continent. That is the Myanmar case to the international courts.
Yeah.
And but your own people, you are bringing laws that are, you know, restricting their freedom. Because those people, their rights were violated.
Yeah.
They are violated. That is why Gambia is going all out to support them. Now you are also bringing laws that are restricting the rights
Of your people.
of your people.
That is
You
so
know, like-
contradictory.
Yeah, exactly. And you are going to the UN every year to tell them that yes, Gambia is committed
To all these.
international
Conventions that we are
conventions,
ratifying,
the global peace, global human rights, stability, you know. But now you're doing, you know, for me, I think maybe it may be an oversight at the side of the executive,
This is not
but
oversight.
let the National Assembly
Mr. President,
correct this.
you're too diplomatic. You are trying to be so diplomatic.
Not to be
I can understand you are the president. You be diplomatic for us and just handle that part for us.
I think the Parliament will do something about it.
Huh?
I think the Parliament will do something.
They should.
Yeah.
I hope so.
They have to, and they must.
But I think I have spoken to one or two,
Yeah.
and you know they really. I'm going to engage them. The National Assembly. They really wanted to be on the show.
Yeah.
The chairman.
Well, you
wanted
have
be
to
here.
engage them
The
more.
chairman wanted to be
Yeah.
here, and
Yeah.
Bakari Baji.
Yeah.
You know, I love that committee.
Yes.
The chairman is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
minded.
Yeah, Bo.
He's very open-minded, and he understands cyber issues.
Yeah.
He's a
He's
IT
an
expert.
expert on that.
And Honorable
this
Jiba,
kind of law.
Honorable Jiba is free-spirited.
Yeah.
You know, he's part of the committee. And Bakari Baji, he told me, Fatou, I wish I could come to your show and bring my nonsensical ideas. You know, these are people that will listen to you. So I think we should engage them and talk to them about these things. I think these are concerns, and
It's a very
you know, one of the National Assembly said to me, but these were the laws that you guys fought for during Jammeh's time. Why should we? I said, oh, I'm happy that it's coming from you. So I think we should continue to engage the National Assembly members. But finally, Mr. President, what message do you have for the National Assembly members? I know it's at committee stage. I'm told around September, between September to November, it might, you know, after consultations, they are consulting right now.
It's I think it's part of their list of, it's part of their agenda. That is the tabling of the report of the committee, I think. Yeah.
I'm told that they are consulting right now. They wanted to bring it, but because of the overwhelming response that they are getting from their consultations, they are taking their time.
And you know, what I also want to say is, Gambia should not allow itself to have a global attention negatively. You know, the FGM.
Yeah.
Is like right now, Gambia is having a global, like, when I was in the US, like people, you know, some few people that I met, especially high officials, when I say Gambia, I say, oh, how is your FGM thing? You know, I was like, it's all over the media.
Yeah.
So this one also is coming. Like, you know, and now people have started building attention around the global stage. You understand? Even Kenya, when I went there, they were, you guys, your FGM, you guys had a law and then you want, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
So we want to be on the global stage for the right reasons. You know, like, you know, we are global, we are part of the global community. We want to set standards so that Gambia, people can benchmark, you know, Gambia. For example, the children, the free health services for children, you know, under 5 years. You know, experts are benchmarking that at the global stage, that Gambia has made so and so indicator or target. in terms of meeting children's whatever health stuff. So these are the kind of things we want to hear. You know, Gambia has, you know, meet in terms of respecting freedom of expression, our global stage, looking at the human rights issues. It's not just lip service. We are protecting the Myanmar case, and we are also protecting our citizens. I think it makes more sense. You know, let us be known for the right reason.
Let's
not bringing laws that
let's
are
go viral for the right reason.
Yeah, for exactly for
not
the right
for
reason.
all these
not
kind
all
of
these kind of laws
No.
that will infringe on people's
and
rights.
take us back 22, 25 years back.
People are watching all over.
All
you
over the
know,
world.
whatever we do, people are watching, and people will benchmark this that Gambia has accepted the TRC recommendation
But yet,
to repeal certain laws, but they are still bringing those kind of laws in their books. So yeah, basically, and thank you for bringing me. And anytime that you are inviting that
the National Assembly,
I would like to
be here with them. Yes,
I would to have a discussion with them, and then
2 weeks time.
we
and I definitely we have to keep this conversation going.
Yeah, of course.
It's important.
It's very important.
It's very important.
Yeah, and thank you also for creating this space, because it's important to create, because the media also, they are not doing much on this. I've seen
we create, I told people we make noise on people's issues.
But for us,
this is our issue.
It's our own issue.
We have to.
We have to raise it. Editorials. I've seen Point publishing an editorial cautioning on their Mr. President.
Yeah.
I think I saw that. I saw few publications, but
I
like
saw it on Watch on Gambia, and I wanted to reach out to them because I don't know, I'm not sure they saw the entire bill.
Yeah,
so they are concentrating more on the, you know, the pornography and other things, but they haven't seen the entire bill. So I want to personally send this to them.
It is even going to haunt them.
What's
on Gambia? So let them, let them amplify this and ensure that even citizens understands what is in this bill. You know, and then the conversation. We really have to create the agenda as media, and then make sure that this thing is not passed as it is. I'm not saying I'm against cybercrime laws.
No,
but let it be more. Like,
let's be specific.
Let it be specific, and let it address the issue of cybercrime.
And take the false news out, and the cyberbullying. That doesn't belong
false publication.
False publication.
And confiscation of equipment, you know, without oversight, anything.
That is for equipments they see. The ones who are no phone.
Mustafa, they can meet you.
Madi was arrested at his residence.
Yeah, they can meet.
Remember?
You get a heads up that they are coming.
Sometimes you may not.
If you don't,
someone can just meet you.
For example, if they take our cameras
and your laptop. So long as those are not part of the instruments that were used to commit a crime, have no business to do with the police.
Yes, and it should be like that.
And you know, for me, sometimes these people are so, like, it's so embarrassing. Like, how can you arrest someone for expressing some opinion on Facebook and until they are you the person who said this? So you call me to police, a whole police station, and you sit me down and say, so what are you for? Like, of course, yes, it's on my Facebook.
You have the evidence already. What are you investigating?
What are you investigating? Like, this is question and answer. Like, what do you? These people make investigation sound so bad.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, come on. I mean, police should focus on things that are of more relevance. Even themselves, they could use their resources for
exactly.
Important.
Yes.
There are so many.
And you know, also this
frustrates
a lot of young, competent ones at the lower cadre. You know, so you know, there was one incident. I did a story. You know, the Roy Webster. And I sent it to one police guy, and he was so passionate about it. I'm going to forward it to this, that, and that, and that, and that. I think we need to investigate this again. And I said, hey, guy, calm down. Let me handle this. I know you are a good guy. You're passionate. You know, you want things to get done. You know, there are a lot of folks in the police who want things done. I mean, they are passionate about things they do, but you know, there is a roadblock. I mean, sometimes also, and I can't discourage them sometimes. I mean, I've had an incident at and Bruce B turntable. And I called some police officers, and they get it done. They fixed it.
Yeah.
You know? So you have police who are competent, they know what they're good at investigations, they're good at things, they're very educated, and then they have to deal with these political cases. And there is a big boss on top. Anyway. So it makes life difficult for some of those young ones.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Once again, Mustapha, thank you very much. Mr. President, thank you. It's a pleasure having you on the show. You have been on the brunch before, but you have not been on the show, right?
I've never.
Thank you very much for coming. But definitely, when I have the National Assembly members, you know, you should come. I think we have to do shows about this.
Yeah.
You know, even if we're going to put everything on hold, we're going to talk about our own problem, because
it's a threat.
This is a threat to us, and we will not allow it to go through. This cannot go through. It should not go through. It is dangerous for news people, for freedom fighters, for human rights activists, for the ordinary citizens, but most importantly for politicians themselves. So I don't understand why any National Assembly member will pass this. But you know, but more importantly for government itself, it's problematic. If you push citizens to a corner, you don't want them to speak. They will rebel against you, and you don't want that. So I hope they understand that this bill doesn't do any good for a society like the Gambia. Until we come your way next week, good night to you all. Thank you very much to the technical team. See you again. Bye-bye. Good night.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future that we inspire. Our new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We are moving away from the navy and gold-colored parallelogram-shaped logo to our baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The striking outline of a baobab tree at sunrise is a familiar sight to anyone who has spent time in the Gambia. Our new logo and visual identity are inspired by our core values and spirit of being a pioneer in providing a unique banking experience. It is a completely new look that better matches the transformation we have made as a company. But we remain your trust bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to present to you our new logo and corporate identity.